last time I spoke with Chris Swenson, he was kicking off his 7th season as head coach of the women's swim team at Kean University. Now he comes back to the show, having just finished season number 8. His team performed just as well, but this year he and his staff took home NJAC Coaching Staff of the Year honors. Chris joins me now to talk about this special recognition. Chris, long time and congratulations. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, Mike, good to see you, and thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So as I said, your team performed very well this year, as they did last year, but how different did the roster look from the last time we spoke?
This year was probably one of the more challenging years from a roster standpoint. We were a little bit smaller than I would want it to be, but ultimately, when recruiting didn't really go our way last spring, we just made a decision as a staff to keep it a little bit smaller, and we knew what we had, so we didn't panic. We just kind of rolled out, with the girls we had, and then they just outperformed every expectation, and it was a really, really fun and successful year for the girls and for the coaches and for the university.
Now, I looked back at your records over the last few years, and since the 2022-23 season, you have 40 wins and only 4 losses. And not only that, I believe you haven't lost a home game since our home swim meet, I should say, since February of 2022, which is absolutely unbelievable. What makes your team so successful year after year?
I think it's a combination of just the people that we recruit and how well they train, and then also just their ability to step up in a big moment. Like you referenced, not losing a home meet for the last 4 years. That's an incredible home pool advantage, and I'm really proud of that. But, again, now it's just we want to keep that going. So I think it really is just a combination of just the girls coming in, their talent, their ability to draw more talent that wants to come and swim with them, and we just have a lot of fun while we work together.
And during this great run over the last few years, you became the winningest swim coach in school history this past October. What was that moment like?
I think it was just kind of, oh man, it was like everything coming together, right? It doesn't happen just with me. It's a commitment from my family, my wife, who picks up a lot of the slack at home when I'm not home. My obviously the people on my team, my coaches. I get to coach with my brother, which is pretty awesome. So really, it's just a combination of everything, but very special, very honored, and excited to keep this thing moving forward.
Well, I want to expand on what you just said a little bit. You're the head coach, but you've got a whole staff working with you that made winning this award possible. Talk about the assistant coaches and what they bring to the team.
Yeah, we're really lucky here. I mean, I'm the only full-time coach, but our part-time coaches, I would argue that we are one of the more experienced staffs in the entire country. Everything from Dave Kessel, who's a full-time teacher, Lou Petrozzillo, who is a retired business owner but former U.S. national team coach, my brother Steve, NCAA champion, Stephanie Judge, 4-year letter winner at UMass, and then Lainey Fenton was with us this one year, swam for me last year and was a student assistant this year. So really lucky to just kind of have all those pieces together, and we work really well together.
And as you said, one key member of your staff is your brother Steve. How special is it to be sharing the success of this team with him?
Well, I definitely like having him on my side. We competed against each other for 3 years in college, and he won every single time. So to not have to go against him is pretty nice, but it really is just fun. It's a chance for us to kind of connect on the road a little bit. We usually end up in the same hotel room, so spending that time with him has been really nice. And obviously, he and I balance a lot off each other, and he's been a huge part of what I do. So I appreciate his efforts greatly.
Now, one of your athletes I want to bring up is Braylon Wilson, who I've had on the show twice because last year she won Conference Rookie of the Year, and this year she gets Conference Swimmer of the Year. Talk about how she's evolved as a competitor and what she means to this team.
Oh, I mean, her year was incredible. She was 2/100ths from being Kane's first ever women's NCAA champ in any sport. And that was probably the most exciting race of the NCAA meet. So obviously now moving forward, the next goal is to finish what we started and end up on top of the podium. But she really just makes the team go. Having kids like Braylon and having Olivia Chow and having the other 3 NCAA qualifiers, and it really is just a full, complete team that really did it together. So I'm just lucky to have her. Happy that we have Braylon for 2 more years, as well as the rest of our NCAA points coming back. So it's going to be a pretty fun future moving forward for sure.
Now, obviously, the whole season was excited, but looking back, what were some of the memorable moments? Are there any that stood out over this great season?
Oh, of course. I think every season is its own entity, right? So this year, I think just having a smaller team and going and still not letting that deter us from winning as much as we did. We finished as the number one public school at NCAA's this year, which is a huge step considering that 8 years ago we were probably one of the worst teams in the country. So that kind of growth is very exciting. We were, like I said, we had 17th overall place finish at NCAA's, and just missed having our first national champion. But to bring a whole team to NCAA's this year, having 5 girls go, having 4 first-team academic All-Americans, like they do everything, and I'm just really grateful for all of it. But and then I think one of the fun just kind of side things we did this year was on training trip. We took a nice little snorkeling trip down to Key Largo, so that just kind of reset the mood going into the second half of the year, and we had a really good year and a good finish of the season.
Snorkeling is always fun. Now, as you head into
Yeah.
next season, do you feel confident that your team can continue to perform at such an elite level? Is it going to look the same as this year, your roster, or is it going to change a little bit? Are you losing players, or tell me about it?
Yeah, we're losing a lot of talent. Obviously, anytime you lose seniors, that kind of this senior class is what really catapulted us into that first conference title a couple years ago and really put us on the map. But we have every NCAA point coming back. We have a huge class coming in, and honestly, I think our team next year is going to be better. We'll be a little bit deeper, we'll be a little bit bigger, but the goal is to finish inside of the top 12 and maintain our status as the top finishing public school at NCAA's. Those are just some of the big things that I have circled for us for next year.
And Chris, final question. I asked this to all the coaches. I think I even asked you this before. But what do you teach your student athletes that they can take with them into the real world beyond just the swimming pool?
I think we teach them accountability. We teach them, showing up on time is important. Being good teammates, being good people, being good citizens, all those things really matter because ultimately, your career as a swimmer it's so short. And, the 4 years that you have here, that's not going to define the rest of your life. It's going to set you up pretty well for success. But ultimately, learn those transferable skills and then go out in the real world and be successful. And then, the long-term goal, hopefully, come back and donate to the program and build us a new facility and keep this thing going bigger and better every year.
Love it. Chris Swenson, head coach of the women's swim team at Kean University. Thanks so much for taking the time today. And again, congratulations on the award.
Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Good to see you.
You too. We'll be right back.